everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So starting a new month, hard to believe. Yeah, working on this big flower. Got most of the center of it done. And yes, I'm hoping to reach halfway done this month, which shouldn't be a problem because that's less than 4,000 stitches away. And I usually manage about 7 or 8 in a month, so on this project, so that seems doable. Also, I have some bigger blocks of color in this section, so it should go fairly quickly. So I have a lot of new subscribers over the last week, so welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're returning. I'm so honored that you decided to spend some time with me today. Yeah, hard to believe another month has gone by. Yeah, we're definitely into fall here. Although we did have one day last week that I had to use the air conditioner. I thought we were all done, but turned out no. We had one last burst of heat, and now we're back to cooler temperatures again. No frost yet, so that's good. Although, yeah, my husband is working on winterizing everything, making sure the vehicles are ready, all the fluids are topped up and all that. And yeah, we have to get our son a ice scraper for his vehicle because we only just got it in May, so he hasn't driven it in the snow yet. Although he has driven in snow, so yeah. This means this winter he won't have to borrow my car, so yay. Yeah, so you may hear some background noise today. The other half is home. He had to work through the weekend, so he's taking his days off now before he has to hit the road again. So yeah, like I've said before, this has been a busy traveling year because everything that they had to put off during lockdowns has to be done now, and they acquired a bunch of new locations as well, so he's been having to update their equipment for that. So yeah, he's been a busy bee. Yeah, so the new Legend of Zelda game came out. If you've followed me for a while, you know that I'm a gamer. In fact, I did Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask was the project before this one, a smaller one. Yeah, I was really happy with how that turned out. So anyway, the new one's called Echoes of Wisdom. And I said, kind of seems like a missed opportunity. They should have called it Legend of Link, because usually it's called Legend of Zelda, but you play as Link. This time it's you play mostly as Princess Zelda rather than as Link. So yeah, I kind of joke they should have flipped it around. Yeah, it's interesting because it is a 3D game, but not in the way that, say, the last games were. It's still kind of like looking down from above, like the map, kind of, and you can't sort of go into first-person view and look all the way around like you could in, say, like Ocarina of Time or something. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like a blend of the older kind of classic format with the new. It's very cartoony looking, but yeah, we're enjoying it. It's fun so far. It's funny in this one, when you break the pottery, people around you get startled, their eyes get all big, and like you could see the whites of their eyes for a second when you startle them. So yeah, it's funny. And we discovered you can actually climb inside the clay pots and jump around in them, kind of like in one of the old Nintendo Mario games. The little Goomba shoe. Yeah. It looked like a little sleeping bag. It's the same kind of thing. It looked pretty cute. Yeah, the characters don't talk in this either. It's subtitled, not with voices. So like I said, kind of like the classic throwback. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting because you get to copy things. They're called echoes, and so you have to make like steps out of things to climb up on stuff. And so yeah, with like crates or tables or even beds, that kind of thing. And to fight, instead of having a sword, you get to copy enemies you've defeated and then create more of them to go fight the other enemies. So I said, oh, so it's like you create your own little minions or something and they fight for you. So yeah. Yeah, it's definitely different. So only had it for a couple of days, but we've been enjoying that. That's been keeping us busy. Okay, so there's not much left to this thread, so I'm going to park it down here where there's a single stitch there. So color all this in, park it down there. So yeah, like I said, I worked out as far as sort of the center of the flower. I'm filling in around it, but we'll see kind of looking at the shapes that it's creating on the piece is what we will end up following, because I can see even now there's sort of big swaths of color as it creates the petals of the flower. So yeah, we're gonna work on that big flower. We're gonna get some of the peahen's feathers soon, and some of the peacock's feathers from above as well. So yeah, I'm not sure how far we'll get this month, but we might even get up to getting the peahen's head and neck done. We'll see. Like I said, this section of the pattern is not as confetti heavy as, say, the tail feathers. So I don't think we'll get to tail feathers. We'll get to those next month, I should say. So yeah, I've been saying I would like to finish this this pass across the pattern by the end of the year, but I think that might be a bit out of reach. So yeah, we will see. It'll be close, I think. But yeah, I mean, I have to remember that's during Christmas, and that's always a bit busier too, with all the baking and visiting friends and all that. So before that, we'll have Halloween. Oh yeah, and it's going to be Canadian Thanksgiving soon. Yeah, we have ours as early in October. Yeah, whereas US Thanksgiving is like late November. Yeah, we have ours at least 6 weeks earlier than they do. Not sure about other countries, but yeah. It's funny though, because our stores still do the Black Friday sales according to the US calendar. Yeah. Yeah, I made that mistake once. I usually stay home because I don't want to fight with the crowds and, you know, for parking and that. And yeah, I made the mistake once of running out to grab something and thinking, why is it so busy? Because usually we have enough parking that you don't have to fight for parking spots. At this time, like everything was packed, and then it was like, oh yeah, silly me. I should have known better. And to go shopping on Black Friday. Okay, so it's within an inch, so I'm going to park this down here. Come back to it later. All right, then I'm going to take a look at this color here. How long is this piece? Yeah, as I said, cooler weather, so you can hear my furnace kicking on. It's cold enough for that. Okay, so do a little bit of this, but I'm going to start working along this color here that's outlining the center of the flower there. That's what I'm going to work on next. Yeah, I'll be working on sort of this petal here, but later after I fill in stuff above it. Okay, actually, so normally I work more across than up and down, but sometimes it just sort of makes more sense to work vertically, so I switch it up and that's what I do. Pin stitch this down here because I know this is the same color being used here, so it's not going to show through. This is quite a bright color, so a lot of times I won't pin stitch it because I fear it would show through, but yeah, I'm not worried in this case because I unthreaded that, but I actually ended up getting back to it sooner than I thought. Just sort of pick away at this little bits here until that thread is depleted. Okay, so back up to this orangey and coral colors here on the outside of this center of the flower. Yeah, so looking at the pattern, yeah, I can see, yeah, there's a color that sort of comes all the way around here, a big petal here in big swaths of color, so that's probably what I'm going to end up following for the next bit. I generally don't go across big areas, but when they're big blocks of color like this, I kind of tend to do that more. Yeah, I don't like constraining myself by the little boxes of 100. Some people, that's how they prefer to stitch, which of course is totally fine too. Yeah, I would say there's no right way, just the way that works best for you. Yeah, I knew these flowers were big. I didn't kind of realize just how big till I started stitching them. They take up quite a lot of space. Oh, I missed, there we go, coloring in one of the stitches there. Yeah, so I'm gonna have one strand is gonna come up here and it may loop back down as well. I have not yet decided exactly what I'm going to do. I generally decide on the fly. Slowly adding more needles here. Let's see if you will cooperate. There we go. So do these two and then those two up there. I did say I might go all the way from the top of this pass, but now looking at it, I'm probably going to make a break here and sort of stitch along that edge before I head up to the top. Yeah. Like I say, I change my plan as I stitch because, yeah, it just becomes clearer to me. I'd rather stitch and figure it out as I go than sit there trying to make a game plan and just be spending time on that I could be spending stitching. Okay, so looking at these different colors, what I want to do where. Okay. There's going to be lots of threads of this one, I think. So I'm going to do these two stitches here and travel this up there. Just double checking with my grid lines there. Okay, or I might make my dividing line a little further up. We'll see. What I'm going to do to decide that, first I will finish these in park so I don't lose what I'm doing. I can only hold so much in my head before it starts slipping away. Okay, so that's that one there. I'm going to check these other threads here. Yeah, this one's pretty short. That's what I thought. This one is longer. Okay, so I'm going to travel it downwards. So what I'm going to do is fill in a bit here. see how many can I get out of this thread. So I don't want to start a new one just yet. Oh, okay, fine. I'll come the other way because, yeah, I'm having a hard time getting the needle to come up just right. Okay. So I haven't done the stitches above this one, but I'm not too worried about it. Like I say, I don't worry so much about doing the stitches above anymore, just as long as everything is connected on at least one side. That's my big rule now, or guideline, I should say. I don't like to say rules. Yeah, the only rule I have is always parking in the upper right of where I will next use that thread, because that is one that I will mix myself up on if I do not do that. I learned that the hard way. Yeah, because if I parked in the lower left-hand corner, sometimes I didn't know when I picked up the thread which square it belonged to, and sometimes I ended up with two coming out of the same spot, so then, yeah, it was way too easy to get myself mixed up. I don't need any help with that. So yeah, I'm not going to be working any of these threads, so I'm just going to move them out of my way. I will be getting to those later. So yeah, here is where I'm going to make my cutoff. I'll fill in above it later. Oh, I do have a thread part here. I forgot, that's right. Silly me. I was probably talking and distracted myself. So actually I didn't need to bring this thread from the top, but oh well, I did anyway. That's fine. I will just park it right there. It will be just fine for right there. So now this one we can end off. It's only long enough for one stitch anyway, so works out perfectly. So in this case, because I know these are paler colors here, I am not going to pin stitch this. I'm going to draw it along the back so that there's no chance the color will show through. This is a little trickier to do than pin stitch from the front, but it is doable. Just took a little practice, but now I never have to turn my work, which is really nice because, yeah, I like to get it tilted at just the right angle for me. Okay, so some from the top, some from the bottom. Yeah, I said winter's coming, but we had to mow the lawn at least one more time before then. Yeah, we had the rabbit that visits our yard was sitting in the grass, and I guess it felt it was tall enough because it wasn't scared when people walked by. Usually it runs off, so we're like, yeah, that's an indicator that grass is too long. If he feels safe in there, then that means it's too easy for him to hide. Yeah, so like I said before, with this color, I'm going to have lots of threads because it kind of branches off quite a bit, and because there's so much of it that we end up having to use multiple strands anyway to do all the stitches, so no problem. Do those two in the corner and then park for the next one. immediately. There's a knot in that one. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I actually expected this piece to be more confetti heavy than it is. My last one before the Majora's Mask, the first one I did on this channel, my Soulful Mediterranean Tranquility, that was a lot of confetti. I didn't realize it kind of looking at the mock-up, but yeah, it was pretty unrelenting. There were almost no big blocks in that one. But it was worth it. I was very happy with the end result, so. Okay, this piece is not very long, but I think we might be able to complete these with it. I hope. I think I will need to use another small one from the other side as well. Okay, so yeah, sometimes in big blocks like this, I kind of stitch one direction and then another. Just kind of makes sense for me to do that, so that is what I do. Oh, another knot. There we go. Okay. Again, working out from the corner whenever possible. So yeah, I say I don't stitch diagonally, but sometimes it ends up becoming that way. But yeah, the colors are kind of flowing in that same way, so. When I can, I stitch diagonal, and when it's going to be fighting the direction the colors are going, then I don't. Yeah, this orange around the center really makes it pop nicely, I think. Okay, so, right, taking a look at this here. Yeah, I think that's only going to be long enough. Whoops. Oh, look at that. Pulling the needle right off. Yeah. I'm going to see what I have for smaller pieces to come from the other side. This one is a light color, so yeah, I'm not worried about any showing through. Yeah, it's funny, the last 2 months I stopped on exactly round numbers, so it was really easy to know how many stitches I'd done. I stopped on 143,000, and then last time was 150,000 exactly, so yeah, that doesn't happen very often. It's kind of cool when it does. Okay, so there's 4. Oh, gotta move this one more stitch over. There we go. Right there. All right, then I'm going to end off this thread here. Yeah, I predict we'll put up a pretty good number today since there's not as many colors. So that always helps. Yeah, sometimes Pattern Keeper has this weird glitch where it kind of colors like that. If you just kind of, yeah, have it on move mode and kind of wiggle the screen around, it sorts itself out. Some people say to force close the app and restart it, but I find usually just moving it around does it for me. It's generally enough to clear it. so I'm saying 50% should be no problem. I'm not really sure how much beyond that I'm gonna get because, yeah, I stopped making predictions because it was stressing me out, so we will see. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna get out of this strand. Then I'm going to start another one from the bottom. Do that one there in the corner. I think, yeah, I'll travel this, park this up here. Oh, goodness. Caught it around my magnet there. The edge, I like to use it for wrapping the threads around, but sometimes that means I do it by accident. Okay, so you have two threads. One is parked up here, one is parked down here, but the one down here is, yeah, as I recall, not very long, so just gonna get what I can out of it and then carry on with the thread from the top. I generally don't work in vertical strips, but sometimes it just makes sense to do that. So I got the one thread here, and I have another one part down here. Right. They're both kind of medium length. We'll use both until they run out. And put that there. I think these three in this column here will be all I'll get out of it. So again, probably going to sort of cut it off here for now and keep growing out here, and I'll do this part again later. So yeah, I don't cut off things by grid lines or page lines. I just kind of cut it off where it seems to make sense to me to make a break. And then I find because where I make the break is not always in the same place, I'm less likely to get any lines. The dreaded lines. So yeah, I'm going to stitch up to that point there. The other I will stitch from the top down when I get there. So I'll do a whole bunch with this thread. And when we get back down to where we started, we'll figure out where I want to go from there. See if this strand will last for that long or not. So yeah, warned y'all about potential background noise. That was the other half coming up for a snack. Although yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap this session up pretty soon. We'll see. Oh yeah, hitting 200 is gonna be no problem today, that is for sure. Yeah, these big blocks, that is super easy. probably even stitch past that. Yeah, it's getting windier out there too. That other noise is my oven range hood vent there. Yeah, the wind catches it, flaps it around. Okay, so this other one I parked up here. So again, I'm gonna kind of divide this section of color a little bit for now. I'll be stitching more from the top down later. Yeah, these big sections. Sometimes I stitch across the whole thing, and sometimes I split it up. It kind of depends on what other colors intersect it, where they're parked, that kind of thing will affect my decision. Actually, I might continue to just sort of hug this edge and grow out sort of one row at a time for now. Before I make the cutoff, I might make the cutoff, yeah, sort of a couple of rows over. Oh yeah, we are definitely going to blast through 200, no problem. Yeah, I don't think we'll quite reach 49% this session, because that would be past 300 total stitches to do that, so I will need to take a break before then. My arms will start screaming at me. I especially have to be careful to make sure I take breaks when I'm working these big sections, because yeah, I kind of get into the groove and sort of lose track of time, and doing the same motion over and over, it catches up with me. Yeah, so sort of right at this line kind of seems like a good place for me to stop, where that stitch is extending out. Sometimes I end up with weird looking shapes, and sometimes I end up with very square shapes. Just kind of depends. Okay, so let's see how I want to do this here. I don't want to skip and leave gaps as much, so. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is actually do all these. Those two. And then, yeah, I can start filling in. I believe those are paler colors there on that part of the flower petal. Or one of the flower petals. And then building the next one around it, and then the next one around that, until the flower is totally done. Yeah, so if you can see by looking at the pattern, it kind of, yeah, grows out in that way. So I follow that with my stitching. Okay, so now we're going to get some color changes, and that will help me have my built-in little breaks there for my arms. Oh, there, make sure I park that in the correct place. Okay, so the next lighter shade of color. Because I'm going to loop this thread up along this edge and then back down. That way don't leave any gaps. Make sure there isn't a loop or something on the back there, because that's kind of lying funny. No? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, make sure I don't pierced the fabric in the wrong place. So yeah, sort of right at this line of stitches here is where I'm cutting off this motif, and then we'll be carrying that strand down that way. So, oh, actually, instead of just parking there, pull this thread here out of my way. Do these two as well. Oh goodness, that didn't look right. Oh yeah, I pierced the thread there as I came up. It sewed through one of the strands. There, that's why it was not lying correctly. There, that's better. Yeah, otherwise it was pulling the bottom leg into a funny shape there instead of lying flat the way it's supposed to. Okay, and then a new color. Let's see, do I have a lot of it around here? No. So I won't bother putting it in my working tray. Yeah, there's more of it later. I think when we get to the next bunch of flowers below the sort of the peahen there. There's 3 of them there. 2 of them are really big and open, so yeah. Oh yeah, I love when I pick a strand that is exactly the right length for the number of stitches I have to do. There we go. Okay, I'll do a few more, and then I'm gonna have to take a break, rest my arms. That's no good. There we go. Okay, we'll stitch to just past 250. Yeah, not many colors here, so that definitely speeds things up. I think as we get closer to the edge of this flower, the petals will get smaller, so the blocks of color will also get smaller. Yeah, I think that is a good stopping point. Yeah, just over 250. So thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone.